Most small businesses don't really feel like they're a threat. I mean, they're at risk of being compromised, and they couldn't be any uh, less true because um, the automated systems that are going out and looking for the low hanging fruit are they don't care if you're a small business or a large business.
Credential theft typically happens with a phishing campaign. So somebody sends you an email and they get you to click on a link or reply with some information, and at that point they're able to identify credentials and use that to access your network and start doing whatever they really want to do. And so training is number one above everything else. All the $1 million firewalls and security analyzers and everything else. And typically, if I had to boil it down to one point, if you wanted to come away with from that training with one point, it's always to look for anything with urgency. If somebody's telling you you need to do something sensitive right now, you got to look real close because that's not something that you're going to see on a day-to-day basis. But it really gets back to having a plan, being able to walk through that plan, keeping your staff updated, um, and so that's typically what we see today is that lack of training that leads to something uh, having credentials stolen. And once credentials are stolen, then they can get into a network, and typically you're going to see encryption at work.
That frontline defense of security awareness training is 95% of the battle. And social engineering works very, very well. And it only has to work well once to get sort of a little toehold on the environment. So people want to know, what can we do? And again, we always reinforce security awareness training. Do it throughout the year. Do email testing.
Yes, typically PCs are going to get hacked or they'll get infiltrated a lot easier, but Apple is definitely not 100% secure. There are ways to get into both of them.
Where you don't know what exists on the network at home.
And if you're going to send people home with laptops, if you're going to provide that, then that needs to be a trusted, managed device. So we really prescribe that folks treat those remote machines just like they would an internal machine sitting at a desktop, right? My perfect scenario for work from home is going to be a company provided device with its firewall on, right? Its built-in firewall on, using SSL VPN, tunneling all of its traffic over that SSL VPN to do work and to get to the internet. That's the best case scenario.
If you're going to do work from home, if you're going to have a business that you're running remotely, or even if it's in an office, I would ensure that you're not using the router that your internet service provider gives you.
Two-factor authentication or multi-factor authentication can be done by individuals.
Multi-factor on everything.
Mm-hmm.
If they offer it, turn it on.
Any of the quizzes that you've gone through, or the tests that you've gone through on Facebook that are asking you questions like, what's your favorite color? What was your favorite movie? Those typically are mining tools. They're going to give you a result at the end, but what they're doing is they're collecting data so that they can try to guess your password, try to guess your security answers. But since everything today is driven by a user account with a password, traditionally now we're getting multi-factor authentication layered on top of it. It doesn't make as much sense to rotate the passwords frequently as it does to have good password habits up front, including multi-factor.
Google saving your passwords is nice and quick and easy, but not the way you want to go. You definitely want to go with the LastPass type password management system.
You should never let your browser memorize your password.
You can recover that, and if you can recover that, the bad guys can recover that.
If you're looking for a managed services partner, look for one who has been audited the same way that a regulated business would be audited.
Make them show you their reports. What am I going to get? How do I know what you're doing? How will I know that I can trust your reports? Make them talk through all of that.
But it is all about education. All of us here on the phone didn't have to deal with this stuff when we were kids, and it's a new, big, different thing that we all need to learn how to do. And that kind of goes, if you push that up the chain a little bit, that goes to our employees too. We have a responsibility to our employees, whether you have one or 101, to help educate them on things not to click, things to look for. Stop before you use the whole stop, drop, and roll. When we were kids on how to get, deal with fires and stuff. It's the same thing here. You got to stop and think. If this looks weird, even if you're the person that always does transactions throughout the day, you got to slow your roll just a little bit to make sure that you're not clicking on the wrong thing.